This case study can illuminate how data sharing and the collaborative process play out when dealing with sensitive information. As members of the larger collaborative, the Sierra Club was aware of the tools, analysis, and resources available. Before we dive into the data they shared as a case study, it should be noted that the Sierra Club, like most other nonprofits in the collaborative, find success in research by leveraging technology alongside person-to-person collaboration. So the Sierra Club knew right away that they wanted to use GIS and online tools to tell a story about border wall construction as they knew about them from the collaborative. And we had 4 core data sets that needed to be made interoperable in order to do so. And the Sierra Club compiled these beforehand. There was a shapefile of all border walls constructed as polyline data, a shapefile of law waivers, or the coordinates where an attorney general came in and waived federal law to make construction temporarily legal, a shapefile of all pre-Trump era barriers, and a non-spatial data set, which was a spreadsheet containing thousands of government-approved construction contracts. Well, we needed to either make this data spatially or semantically interoperable, or preferably both. The largest logistical challenge was to associate or build a relationship between government-approved construction contracts and physical border wall segments. Doing so required a lot of data sleuthing and we needed to find a unique identifier to append these 2 data sets together. We ended up using what the government called border wall contract identifiers in order to do so. Then we ran spatial joins and buffer analyses between all spatial data to ensure the data could talk to one another. Once this technical process was completed, we had to push the data to ArcGIS Online and begin to design the actual data dashboard. We wanted to tell the story for the appropriate audience, and the Sierra Club, ACLU, and SBCC were in court with the federal government contesting border wall construction at the time. The dashboard was made to be used by advocacy groups and legal teams. You can see here, we have our 3 spatial data sets, which are the pre-Trump era barriers, the actual physical border walls constructed, and law waivers used in order to make this construction process legal. And so the Sierra Club really wanted to convey 2 main things about border wall construction within this dashboard. They wanted to highlight the questionable legality of border wall construction because lots of these waivers ignored laws protecting sacred lands and nationally protected areas. And then they also wanted to convey the cost of each border wall construction project. And so as you can see here on the left, we have a chart here that connotes each physical border wall barrier in red, along with its actual construction cost down below. And so this was only possible because we added a unique identifier to the data set in order to start appending new kinds of information to the actual attribute table of the spatial file. And then the law waivers over here, we have a running list of all laws waived in certain areas. And it's just a compilation of all the laws that were ignored in order to build different wall segments. So I'm going to zoom into Yuma real quick to show everybody how the data dashboard kind of functions. And as you can see, as you pan and zoom with the extent of the map, the data is all talking to one another. So the chart and list are actually filtering along with the actual extent of your map. And that also helps kind of tell a story. So what was really interesting and what we're starting to look into with this Yuma section right here is that the Yuma project Yuma project 1, or this segment right here that's blinking right now, it was one of the more expensive projects in the entire country. And it's only about, if you look into it, it's only about 5 miles long. So with that unique identifier, we were able to pull other information from government websites having a running list detailing further like logistical challenges that the government was using in building the border wall. And so here you could see we have the actual status or how far along construction is. We have the the actual contract or the unique identifier that the federal government is using in order to build these, and we have the total value. We also began to find which government agency was in control of border wall construction and the description of the actual project. So in all, the amount of resources necessary to compile this kind of data is immeasurable. Nonprofits have an incredible amount of time and resources as well as people power to devote towards collecting such granular data. There are still really no machine learning or AI technologies that can make such heterogeneous datasets interoperable just yet. In other words, there's no way around the manual labor to make datasets talk to one another. Data sharing has exploded in recent years, from the private sector all the way through to academia. Making data spatial appears to actually speed up the process in making data not just spatially interoperable, but semantically interoperable as well. Space is a common ground for all kinds of information and helps build relationships between different data sets. The Sierra Club really overcame a challenging logistical problem in their data. They did this by deploying new kinds of technology along with lots of person-to-person collaboration in order to solve it. A huge thanks to all the orgs and volunteers who spent so much time making this research possible. And so if you'd like to explore the datasets a little bit more, you could scan this QR code to go straight to the data dashboard, or you could use the shortened URL down below.